Okay, so here we go. Ethiopian against Lithuanians. So that's going to be interesting to compare because those two versions are new ones in this tournament. They both were updated today. So we are at the good speed, fast speed, okay. Marco Polo. So in the north we've got PharaoN. There are three different forests close to the TC, so PharaoN does have the choice. The gold is really exposed, like the two boars, but I don't think Forthwind would steal the boars anyway. The closest forest looks to be the one in the bottom, so that could be the one PharaoN would choose. That would be fine. And we've got already one lumber camp for Forthwind, which is in an ideal position, I would say. It could have been maybe closer to the forest, but anyway, it's okay. We've got maybe more protected forest in the back, but it's not that close compared to the one chosen by Forthwind. Everything looks fine for the red player, which did find already maybe 6 ships, or maybe the whole ships. In fact, 3 ships are already eaten. Let's see if it will lure the... I don't know the name in English of those animals. Maybe in the chat you can tell me. Okay, the second boar is going to be lured for PharaoN, so the start is quite good, and the forest picked by PharaoN is a good one, definitely. It did find the wall ships. No problem, philosopher. It's all fine. So in this version, PharaoN can trash, of course. It does have 20% chance to go for trash. In case it's a bit late in researching feudal age, it can switch from a trash to a normal strategy in case trash was selected at the beginning of the game. Concerning Forthwind, I don't know what it's gonna attempt. I guess that it tends to go for feudal rush. But what are going to be the military composition? I don't know. As Lithuanian, of course. Well, it's gonna get some gold, so let's say that it won't be a full skirmishers for red. Blue side, let's see. Okay, interesting. Forthwind does have the food needed to research feudal age, but it keeps training villagers. Maybe for fast castle, I don't know. And that way PharaoN is going to be the first one researching feudal age. Okay, so we've got loom researched, so it will be a 28 population feudal age. So let's see if PharaoN will manage to punish this, because it tends to be a bit late, especially for 1v1. Except if Forthwind attempt a fast castle. Let's see. Well, I didn't mention the position of the goal for Forthwind, but it's definitely not the best position. But Forthwind didn't have the choice. Well, it could have taken that goal, but it's pretty hard to script to make it go for a safer gold. It tends to go for the one found the most early in the game. So for PharaoN, no trash, it's going to be a 2 outer range strategy. It's not meaning gold, so it might go for skirmishers rush. PharaoN did find its opponent. Forthwind is close to find blue. So we've got forging and market. Okay, so Forthwind is gonna attempt a fast castle. Let's see how it's gonna defend this. We've got, oh, okay. So definitely Forthwind needs to go to find another spot of gold, at least that one, or maybe this one. It looks like it's gonna be the one chosen. And PharaoN starts pressing its opponent, which is actually researching castle age. I don't see any military building at this point. I hope that Forthwind don't expect to boom. I don't see any barrack. Okay, we've got one barracks eventually, so it's mining gold in a certain way, because the mining camp is not can be used for Forthwind. Oh, okay. Is it gonna be crossbows? Well, the pressure is already really heavy from PharaoN. But at least Forthwind does have the access to the wood, which is probably the most important resource at this spot, at this moment of the game. Okay, one spearman and skirmishers. Okay. We should see one tower, maybe from PharaoN. No, it's not the case. So fortunately for Forthwind, actually the wood is well protected, really far from the PharaoN's army. But it looks weird. I mean, I'm curious to know what would have done Forthwind with the access to the gold. If the strategy was crossbows at the start, because I don't see the point to go for fast castle and to train skirmishers. At least this tower is helping a lot. Okay, we've got eventually a fight. We've got fletching both sides. We've got +1 armor for PharaoN. We've got some micro. PharaoN shouldn't be too far from researching castle at this point. The score is pretty close. Let's check the population each side. Okay, so PharaoN does have 6 villagers more than its opponent, but it's actually researching castle, so it should be almost the same civilian population. And I would say that Forthwind is actually doing a good job. It defended well, especially thanks to this tower and the fact that the wood wasn't attacked. So now it can counter. Maybe it would have been cool if Forthwind did build a second mining camp while the first one was attacked. That could have been a good option. Okay, so here we go. We've got a bunch of skirmishers from Forthwind. The problem is PharaoN is gonna train some knights. So it's important for Forthwind to hurt its opponent at this point. Okay, it will kill 1 villager. A second one maybe? Nope, just save that time for PharaoN. Okay, so here we go with 1 knight, which can definitely help PharaoN at this point. Which prefer to stay a bit defensive. Let's check the civilian population. 46 for PharaoN, 49 for Forthwind. Okay, now 3 knights are definitely enough to clean up this army. And okay, we've got 1 stable, a second one, some spearmen. So let's say that Forthwind is ready. The game is pretty close at this point. Civilian and military population are almost the same each side. How many TCs? 2 TCs for PharaoN. And one unique TC for Forthwind was unexpected. And this skirmisher managed to survive. Good job. Okay, we've got scaleboarding for PharaoN and actually no upgrade for Forthwind Knight. It's definitely a good fight for Forthwind. For some reason PharaoN decided to build that lumber camp in that pretty bad position. And we've got pikemen and camels to counter those knights. Still no upgrade for the knights, Forthwind side. Oh, PharaoN is gonna attack with a good amount of military units this time. At least it's a lot of skirmishers. But we've got one camel and a bunch of pikemen. Okay, once again Forthwind managed to win the battle. This time it will be definitely the moment for it to counter-attack and to try to kill some villagers. Because PharaoN did take the advantage in the civilian population, 78 against 68. Close battle. Okay, without any knights anymore, Forthwind is gonna lose its remaining skirmishers, of course. Now Forthwind needs a military population to be trained as soon as possible. Well, I think that the big mistake for Forthwind has been to stay with one TC only. At least if you stay with one TC you need to be pretty aggressive, and it wasn't the case. It had the opportunity in the early Castle Age, but it just decided to retreat. But well, maybe it can win this battle and start to be aggressive. It's maybe not too late. Well, once again it decided to retreat. Now we've got 3 TCs, 1 university. It means that PharaoN is close to research Imperial Age. That's going to be a big problem. Okay, we've got a second TC for Forthwind. Not that many farms. Okay, here we go, Forthwind. Well, we've got +2 defense for PharaoN. So I think that it's GG. One defensive castle in a good position for PharaoN. Yeah, I think that it's a final battle. Well, at least we've got some skirmishers to defend the town, but nothing much to push its opponent out. And as expected, PharaoN is researching Imperial Age. It probably will never happen for Forthwind. I think that lumber camp are built one by one when the distance with the closest forest is too high. I think that it would be better if it's built, let's say, 2 by 2. I'm not very happy with this behavior from PharaoN. Definitely. Well, a third TC eventually for Forthwind. PharaoN being Imperial, I guess it will train some elite shuttle warriors. Ethiopian is definitely not the best civilization for PharaoN. I'm not a fan of those units. Okay, let's go back with those shuttle warriors. Let's see what's gonna happen. Yes, town really under attack, Forthwind said. I agree. Oh, we've got one second castle. Trebuchets. And PharaoN is extending its town with a new town center. PharaoN is not too far from being full population. Town is really under attack, yes. Oh, this is one provocation from PharaoN. Building that many camp on the stone. Where are the retreat rules for Forthwind? That's the question. Okay, so I think that at this point I can change the score. Hello, Screaming Goose. Oh, I didn't know. How do you expect my family to respect me after this, in fact? Okay, I don't know how many members do have its family. Okay, so 1-0 for PharaoN. That's okay, Screaming Goose. See you later. So, the next civilization is gonna be Viking against Japanese. Viking, Japanese. So here we go. Viking is definitely one of the best civilizations for any AI. Fireball knows this at least. But well, on the side, Japanese is definitely not a bad civilization. Well, for fun I definitely would like to see PharaoN trashing this time. Anyway, PharaoN does have two strategies only. Well, 2.5 I would say. The one strategy being going for skirmishers, but it can go for skirmishers plus archers, and the second strategy is pure trash. So the game before, PharaoN didn't manage to punish Forthwind for having attempt a fast castle. So I'm curious to see if Forthwind does have other strategies. Well, this time the lumber camp is definitely not at the best position for PharaoN. And it's fine, Forthwind side. So Japan is definitely a civilization in which you can do almost every strategy. Drush works pretty well, so does Archer Rush. Scout Rush is not bad. Okay, so this time it shouldn't be a fast castle, just because I see one barracks already good by Forthwind. And okay, it's racing. It helps with 22 villagers. I think that it probably did have a idle TC, because with 22 villagers it could already be feudal age. But well, the time stays pretty well. And we go for interesting. One stable and one forging. Blacksmith, I mean. So it's far from researching castle, so it's going to be a scout rush, which definitely can work. Definitely. We should see some spearmen soon, especially if the scout does find the stable. I think it's not the case at this point. Okay, so it did see the 2 scouts, it will see the stable, so it should go for 1 spearman at least. Okay, a 2nd spearman, it makes sense. PharaoN is not mining gold, so it will stay with spearmen and skirmishers. It's going to be interesting to see if Red stays with 1 stable and attempt a fast castle. Is definitely possible. Or it could switch for archers for a more aggressive strategy. Okay, so we've got forging, which is research, 5+1 attack. And indeed the spearman was definitely a good option. And the PharaoN is now getting some gold, so we can expect maybe some archers. This story will be probably delayed a bit. Yep, it's just cancelled. Okay, so now we are almost at in the same situation as the game before. PharaoN massing its units around the TC, and Forthwind staying in defense, but this time Forthwind is not in castle age. Well, it does have 10 military units, a bunch of archers, 1 scout, 2 spearmen. I don't get why the 2 spearmen, but anyway, there might be a reason for this. PharaoN is trying to create some idle villagers. Okay, so here we go for the fight. Okay, the micro worked for PharaoN. And at the meantime, PharaoN is quietly making its economy, and once again we can see that the economy is not very balanced for Forthwind. 400 gold and not enough food. Oh, it looks like Forthwind is just trying to build several towers now. But I think that this spot was pretty ambitious, and that tower probably won't help. So PharaoN is actually researching Castle Age. Okay, we've got an interesting fight right now. I have always found relaxing to see some skirmishes micro. I don't know if it's your case, or if it's just me. So at this point we should see some elite skirmishers upgrade. Three towers now for Forthwind, all in the back. And we've got Botkin Arrow plus elite skirmishers, so that's going to be pretty hard at this point. I don't know why it is spamming retreat units, because when it spams retreat unit it's not effectively retreating. Okay, at this point with that military population, it just don't care anymore to go through the TC to kill some villagers. elite skirmishers tanks so well against missiles. Oh, some villagers to kill. That's gonna be a massacre. Well, I think that the whole villagers were dead in that fight. Well, I won't call it a fight, more an assault. And we've got Scalbarding upgrade, which is done. Well, I think that PharaoN did lose a lot of skirmishers under the TC eventually. Let's test the taunt. No, it's maybe the other one. Okay. So, GG. Yeah, I think that definitely the last game was better for Forthwind, despite the fact that the strategy was looked to be a bit messy. I mean, it went for a fast castle and eventually trained skirmishers. But it looked like PharaoN did have a better behavior in its military micro in the second game compared to the first one for some reasons. And yes, of course, the forward tower did help a lot. And in this second game it attempted to build a forward tower, but it crossed the military of PharaoN. Well, maybe Forthwind did know that in fact PharaoN is a bit scary with tower, but it's something I wrote about in the latest version. PharaoN should be less afraid from towers now.